Oh, good
And
thing the
just
show
like
just
that,
started.
that is how you silence Michael Carrot-Snudo. Good evening, everybody. Welcome into the sports arena. I'm your man, Eric Wilson. I got the entire family with me. I got the big guard back in the building, Mr. Tyree himself, the queen of hoops, Miss Megan Price. Happy belated Mother's Day to you, Megan, even though I said it to you
Thank
yesterday.
you. Thank
The
you.
left coast, the west coast, my brother, the decade and a half plus, Mr. Michael Carrot-Snudo. Forks up, baby. Brother, baby, before I get to the other man to talk to, our friend Walt wanted me to ask you, are you still a fan of James Harden after yesterday? That comes from Walt. Don't kill the messenger.
Man, I mean, Walt is that Cowboys fan that we always have to reel in. We love having him on our team because we want to know why people hate America if they hate on the Cowboys too much. But I mean, come on, man.
He
Like, there's a
listen. I'm
lot to
just
dive into, and we'll get to it. But yeah, man, I'll message Walt. Walt and I got to have a
okay.
conversation.
All right, and then of course the man that I'm gonna have to listen to all night long, and unfortunately I'm gonna have to sit here and take it. Blue Hawks 13, Mr. John Shea. That's why I can't wait for my co-host, the sports reporter without pay, Ray Lynn, to get in here because man, it's gonna be that kind of night tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We got so much to talk about, and I will be debuting. These fine folks here on the screen know I will be debuting here on the Sports Arena, part of the No Filter Network, Eric's Rant. You've never seen me like this, so as I like to say, get your popcorn ready for this one. But let's start with the coaches getting fired first before we dive into anything else because I'm gonna throw names out there that everybody knows: Mike Budenholzer, Nick Nurse, Monty Williams. These are all coaches who have been basically taking teams over or creating championships out of putting pieces together. And there he is, right on time, my co-host, the sports reporter without pay. So y'all talk to me about this whole coaching firing situation because Nick Nurse won a championship back in what 2021 with the Toronto Raptors and Kawhi Leonard.
19.
19.
19. Thank you. Before the bubble. Thank you,
19,
sir.
yeah.
Yes. Uh, Mike Budenholzer just won a championship
2 years
not
ago.
that long ago, and
Two
both
seasons.
these gentlemen have been ousted. Toronto, and Milwaukee saying thank you, see you never, and now they no longer are coaches. Like I find that is the NBA. Here's the question: is the NBA adopting an NFL coaching head coaching mentality, basically saying, "I don't care what you did 2 seasons ago or even last season. If you can't excel or at the very least remain consistent, then I can go find somebody else."
I have a question.
I think both situations are a little different from each other. Definitely the situation in Milwaukee, I felt like they won that championship in spite of Budenholzer. Y'all know I've been critical for the last 2 seasons of him. He went the entire season without adjusting. Now he did adjust in that series against Phoenix. Like they obviously won the first couple of games, and then Phoenix came behind to win the series. I don't know if that was him adjusting. I don't know if that was his assistants adjusting. I don't know if that was just Giannis taking lead and saying, "Hey, I'm going to throw the team on my back, and we're going to win this." The situation with Monty, I think, is a little different. They changed ownership mid-season. I think that their ownership came in and was like, we want to put our people in place. Well, I don't agree with that because we're talking about coach of the year from 2 seasons ago. And I think whoever picks up Monty, because also they lost this series, they didn't do well in the playoffs because they didn't have a bench. That was not Monty's decision for them to give up their entire bench to go get KD. That was front office. That was ownership. So I think both situations are different. I think Budenholzer's writing's been on the wall for about 3 seasons, and that championship just got him a little bit more time.
Okay, but before I go to the rest of y'all, here's what I'll say in response to that, Queen, is the fact that I got a coach right now in Philadelphia that's been the coach for how
He
many
need to
years
go too.
and can't get
He need
past
to
the
go
division. No, no,
too.
no, 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 no. Let me make a blanket statement, public service announcement. No one on this panel is allowed to discuss Philadelphia tonight except for me. I don't care who
Man,
you
bye.
are. I don't care what your
No, that's
record
why
is.
I wore
I
a
don't care
cowboy.
what
I
you've
wore a
done.
cowboy shirt for you because Philly sports is in such a disarray. You could come join the squad, Eric. You
No,
can. We'll
that
take you
will
right
never.
now.
That will never. I would rather not watch the NFL ever than to ever become part of you and Mike and Walt's squad. But getting back to the coaches, so okay, Ty, you shaking your head, but I'm looking at this again and I'm saying to myself, it seems as though this is what the NBA is doing, because these coaches have put together teams and have won championships. Milwaukee just won one. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you brought KD in, and Ishba would be the only exception, but I don't think that's the right move in him getting rid of Monty. You know what I'm saying? You got to give time for things to cultivate, for relationships to form, for chemistry to take place. And because it didn't happen, so you're saying there's somebody else out there who could replace Monty Williams, work with the Kevin Durant, work with the Devin Booker, work with the CP3, and actually get them back to the NBA Finals and a potential championship?
It's not what I said. I think
No,
that
no,
that's
no,
what
I'm
they're
asking. No, no, I'm
thinking.
asking Ty.
But-
I'm asking Ty.
You
Oh,
asking
okay.
me? You didn't say you was asking me. You
I
was
did.
just talking.
You are. You know what? If you turn the sound up in your headphones, you would hear me when I said Ty. You want me to call you by your government name, Tyrus?
I heard it.
Hey,
Maybe
you
if
call me.
he-
I mean, you
Big guard. You
can
didn't
call
say
me whatever
big
you
guard.
call me. It's not my fault. Philly sucks all around.
What did I
I
say?
mean, that's not my
What
fault.
did I just get done saying?
You said that Philly was trash.
I said you ain't allowed to speak their name. Keep Philly's name out your mouth.
Hey,
You know
Ty,
how
it
we
ain't-
do
it
what
ain't-
we
it
do,
ain't-
what we
It
do,
ain't
what we do.
StreamYard, bro. He can't put you in timeout. You good, man.
Yeah, you said the cheesesteaks
I
was
can't
good,
what?
but
I'm sorry, I can't what?
You said the cheesesteaks was good, but the
What
team
can
was
I do?
trash. This is what you said.
Can you hear Ty? No, you can't. Okay.
I heard him.
Oh,
Anyhow,
Hey man. So can I talk now?
Can you answer the question?
I don't even remember what the question was because he started talking about all this mumbo jumbo. All I remember is the Philly cheesesteaks is good, but the sports teams are trash. That's all I really remember from what he said. I mean, I don't really remember anything else. But to make a statement, I will say this. I will say this about the coaches. Guys make $200 million, $300 million now. Someone is to blame. They're not going to blame the $200 million, $300 million guys. Now, I'll address each situation one by one. I'm gonna start with the person, Nick Nurse. I want to know what Nick Nurse has done, because I know I talked to Danny Thompson, and Danny's saying that Nick Nurse is a top 3 coach in the NBA. I do not know why, because when Dwayne Casey was the coach in Toronto, he was coach of the year. All they did was lose to LeBron. I only feel like Nick Nurse won because LeBron went west, and he had a lucky shot. I mean, you can say what they want to say. Kawhi hit the lucky shot against Philly. I mean, you play Milwaukee. You was down 2-0, and then game 3 they was getting smacked up, and then all of a sudden Kawhi just goes crazy, and you win 4-2. You go to the finals. Kevin Durant gets hurt. What game was it, Ray? Game 3 or game 4?
Well, he started the series hurt.
Now he started series. I know he didn't play
Yeah, but
game.
he went
game 2.
out. He went out game 3.
Yeah, game 3 he gets hurt, and then Steph gets and then Clay gets hurt. I'm sorry. Towards the end of game 6.
It might have been game 5. KD came back.
Was it? I know he missed the first couple of games.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was 4
we talking about the Achilles injury?
Yeah.
We're talking about the Achilles injury?
But
I want to say he came back like 5 or 6.
I say that to say this: if that was a Dwayne Casey coached Toronto team, they win that series too. If they go and they play Golden State and you down KD, down Clay, they win too.
Then why is Detroit a wasteland now? He was there for years in Detroit too. If he's such a great coach and they could have beat LeBron, or they could have beat Golden State with Dwayne Casey as the coach, then why is he not doing well in Detroit?
Name 5 players on Detroit team right now.
Cunningham, Bogdanovich, Killian Hayes, Wiseman. They got Wiseman. I know a few over there. And then, okay, they had Sadiq Bey, but they got rid of him because of Dwayne Casey.
And none of those guys you named are very good. That's why. I mean, nobody like. Did he not
play a role? Hold on, did he not play a role in building that team? He had the reins, right? They still trust him so much. He in the front office.
So if Nick Nurse was coaching that team, they would still suck.
Okay.
If I'm just being honest, like you can use.
I don't agree with that.
You can use San Antonio as an example. Pop was winning when
Why
he
you
had
gonna
it.
throw my team in the mix?
Oh,
Why you
Jesus.
throw my team in the
Oh,
mix?
Jesus.
Because Greg
No,
Popovich
no,
was
no.
winning. No, Greg Popovich was winning when he had the players.
I
As
don't
soon
know
as
why you just did
Kawhi,
that.
Kawhi leaves
Don't do
town,
that.
what do they mysteriously not do anymore?
that.
They don't win.
That ain't on Kawhi. That
I'm
is
not saying
on.
it's
That's
on Kawhi.
on.
I'm just
All right,
saying.
Okay, but I would.
Megan and
I
Ty,
will say this.
I'm gonna need y'all to just take it down a notch because I got to get everybody else in here. And Ty, you done picked a fight you don't want to
No,
get
I'm just-
started in here tonight.
Eric,
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, like we often get on coaches, but coaches win when they got players. Ironically, Phil Jackson wins when he has Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Shaq, Kobe. I'm not saying anybody could win with those teams. I'm just saying those guys won because they had talent. Now, a lot of fortunate things bounced their way. However you want to look at it, guys getting hurt.
Okay.
You know, guys, stuff happening. Guys leaving bench. I mean, we had a situation where somebody leaves the bench. I think in San Antonio in a series with the Lakers. You have fortunate things that happen, but you got to have the players.
Okay, let me hear from Mike, Ray, and John about this whole coaching situation because we got a lot to talk about tonight here. But let me hear from the three of them. I'm trying not to listen to John tonight because he gonna run his lips. So before we get to John, let me hear from the sports reporter without pay about this whole coaching situation, please, sir.
I think it's crazy. I think it's absolutely crazy, man. Because the one guy nobody's even mentioning. If we call him a spade, Steve Kerr is the only NBA champion head coach in the last 4 years that still has his job. We ain't even talking about Vogel.
Mm-hmm.
Not anybody talk about Vogel, nope.
Vogel got fired too, right? Like Vogel won a championship, he got fired. Who won in 6? Ty Lue won in 16, and he with a different team now, right? Steve Kerr is the only championship head coach from the past 7-8 years that's still with the team that he won it with. Everybody else got fired, so it's like winning the championship don't even buy you. It don't buy you no leniency with the team anymore, which is crazy to me. And
you got people calling for his job, right?
Who, Ty Lue?
No, you got people calling for Steve Kerr's job,
which is crazy.
They're insane.
That's crazy.
Okay, but why are we giving? Okay, but hold on. Why are we giving, quote unquote? Why are we giving Steve Kerr a pass?
You mean why are we giving a pass? He just won last year.
Yeah, what pass do we need? First off, what I'm saying is, I don't think the coaches that got fired deserve to be fired. Let alone with 4 rings in the past 7 years. Like, no, he don't deserve to go. Who you gonna find is gonna get you? Like, Steve Kerr walked into a situation where everybody say he walked to a great situation. They were okay under Mark Jackson. His first 3 years as an NBA head coach, he won 67, then 73, then 67 games. In 4 years as a head coach, his basement was the NBA Finals. Right? When we talk about Patrick Mahomes and his basement being the AFC Championship, if you go in the finals after finals, how you going to get fired?
Hey, right.
Again, I don't think Budenholzer should have got fired. I mean, for all the things that people say about Budenholzer, when you can lock a guy in for 50 and 60 wins and a chance to compete, he ain't go out there and make Giannis play like trash these playoffs.
Hey, Ray, you know something that's crazy? How many times, how many Western Conference teams has Steve Kerr lost to in the playoffs?
1.
The series he just lost. That's insane.
Y'all see it back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. 1.
You said you'll see it. All right. All right.
Just to throw out on a Nick, I don't even know why. Ty basically, I guess he had this on his mind all day, right? An argument he had with somebody else, the whole Nick Nurse thing. So that's a perfect example of when you said players, right? You got to have the players. Upgrading from DeMar DeRozan to Kawhi Leonard is a big deal.
Yes.
Like, that's a really big deal. Like, at that time, Kawhi Leonard was looked at as one of the top 3-4 players in the league. A lot of people were saying
absolutely.
Not only did they get Kawhi Leonard, they hold San Antonio, sorry, Megan, into getting Danny Green out the deal too, which in this league at that time,
I know.
Versatile 3 and D wings. And then what did management do? A lot of teams do this. They say, we got a chance to compete. Let's go all in. That's how Miami won in 06. They went and got all them old veterans. What did they do? They went and got Marc Gasol too. Nobody talks about that. Ibaka was playing well. Pascal Siakam comes out of nowhere and is playing well. Kyle Lowry was still there. They had a team full of veterans that was hungry and wanted to win, and it was all around Kawhi Leonard. And then Golden State's whole starting lineup got hurt. So, like, is Nick Nurse a good coach? Oh, yeah. Could Dwayne Casey have won with those guys? Maybe, right? Like, I mean, so him getting fired is odd to say the least, right? Again, guys winning championships and it's only one left. Somebody tell me another coach in the past 7, 8, 9, 10 years that won a championship is still with that team besides Steve Kerr.
Okay,
Don't
but
worry,
then
I'll
I want to chime in with this though, and just say though, when you bring up Frank Vogel and Ty Lue, they were not the coaches. LeBron was the coach.
Yeah,
Ty Lue didn't get any validity until he went to the Clippers. Then he became a head coach, but he was not the head coach in Cleveland. He was just paid that title. That's it. He was not the coach.
That would be like if I said, right, and I'm just using this because Ty brought it up, and it's because it's you talking, right? If I was to say, well, San Antonio hasn't been very good since Duncan and Kawhi gone, Pop must can't coach. That's absurd. Pop's a great coach, but you gotta have the talent. Like Ty Lue has shown.
I never once said that you couldn't have that you didn't want to give credit to the players, because Pop credits his success to drafting Duncan. Literally, that he says that's the key to his success is drafting Duncan. So yes, I agree with that. But there had Ty Lue was not a head coach. In my opinion, he was not a head coach really until he stepped into that role as the Clippers. Like Will Vogel, he was a good coach, but he was not the coach of the Lakers. That was LeBron. Darvin Ham is not y'all's coach. It's LeBron.
Why we didn't say that when? And I know my man got the jersey on. Reebok, I don't know what that is. But why we didn't say that LeBron was the coach in Miami? We didn't say that then
because Dwayne Wade was the number one in Miami.
Was he the number one option in Miami? No, that was D Wade's team.
Yes. Yes.
What?
He was not the number one
team.
option in Miami.
That
was D Wade's team.
Let's talk about something.
Look, Dwayne Wade handed that team over to LeBron James.
Right. Thank you, John. He handed it over to LeBron.
What did he just say? What did he just say? He said Dwayne Wade handed the team to LeBron. What does that mean? It was Dwayne's team, and he said, LeBron, you take it.
Hold on. But Eric.
Yes, sir.
Why did he say LeBron take it?
Because he wanted LeBron to step up into that leadership role.
No. He knew for them to be successful, LeBron had to be
First of all,
player.
you're all wrong. All right, I'm done being quiet. You're all wrong. It's Pat Riley's team. End of sentence. When Pat Riley runs his shit from GM, it's his team. Secondly, yes, Dwayne Wade, Eric did hand it to LeBron James. Thirdly, they had to go out and get great shooters, because I do remember in the San Antonio series, quite a few of those bricks put up. Oh, and yeah, who hit the big shot in Game 6 because LeBron shot a brick? That'd be Ray Allen, a shooter. A better shooter than LeBron James. No, I'm not done. I listen to everybody else. I'm not done. Dwayne Wade handed it over.
What that got to do with anything, though, Mike?
If you're going to lie, we'll rebuttal it.
I'm not lying. Did Ray Allen not hit that shot? Did LeBron shoot a brick on the last second shot? Did he not?
What happened to 17 plays before that? They're not even in the game if not for LeBron James. Score like
17 straight points.
Cool. And don't you always say hitting the last shot's biggest? Well, Ray Allen hit the last shot. Fine. LeBron hit it. It's still Pat Riley's team. If anybody says Pat Riley wasn't running it, then you're outside your minds, because anybody.
Mike,
knows.
So Mike, if that's the narrative, okay, cool. If that's the narrative you want to run with, blah blah blah. Ray Allen hit the shot. Okay, cool. So why are we saying that LeBron was the coach in Cleveland when Kyrie hit the shot? If that's the narrative we're gonna run with, you can't use it here, but don't use it there. It don't make sense.
I didn't get to that. Kyrie did hit the winning shot.
Okay, so maybe he was the coach in Miami. Okay, well, okay, give you that. Well, maybe he was the coach in Miami. Maybe he was the reason that he was in Miami. That just goes to prove my point right there, that wherever LeBron is, he's the coach. Thank you for proving my point, Tyree.
I disagree. He might be the system. He might be the system.
He didn't let GM right now too.
He ain't the GM. He didn't tell them to go get D'Lo.
You think he didn't have? You think he didn't have the final say on that? You think he didn't have the final say on that? No, you can't. You can't make me believe that. You can't make me believe that.
We don't Why is it that we only use this narrative with LeBron? You don't think
it's LeBron.
I don't use it just with LeBron.
No, listen to me. You don't think before they went and got Kevin Durant, they asked Devin Booker?
Oh, hell yes, they did.
Of course.
Let's be honest. I don't think but we only use that narrative.
Look, Devin Booker does not have the same weight as LeBron.
But no,
has Devin Booker been to the finals 11 times? No. Of course they're going to ask. Of course he's going to have the final say.
We only use that narrative with LeBron. That's whack.
It's not criticizing him. I'm just saying he's the coach as well as the superstar.
No, but you said
it's not criticizing LeBron.
But you said he was the GM.
He's the GM too in LA right now too.
Before they make any move on a star player team,
Why they
ask
get Russ?
that player.
Why they get Russ? Why they get Russ?
Because they asked him and he said
LeBron.
yes. The same reason why any other
LeBron.
player happens.
Okay.
All right, we agree to disagree. Eric, my thought on the coaches is no. I'm actually with the group on this. I don't really think any of them deserve to be fired. Well, I know Megan, and we know how you feel about Budenholzer, but yes, in that Phoenix series, and I'm not just being bitter because they lost, but yes, there were some big adjustments, and yes, Giannis started to have his way with DeAndre. That being said, like to Ray's point, like yeah, you win a championship just 2 short years ago, and you get canned, and everybody starts yapping. The Phoenix case is different. No. Monty did not deserve to be fired in my eyes. Absolutely not. And when everybody's like, well, doesn't the coach need to make the adjustments? To the point we said, if they really had no bench, what adjustments is there to make, especially when Denver, fully loaded, that does look like the best team. Okay, but Monty shouldn't have been fired. But you guys brought up the point. Matt Ishbia is a billionaire. These guys come in, and yeah, not that he didn't like Monty, but you want to bring your own guy in. And the fact that they didn't win this series and in another elimination game laid a total egg down by 30 back-to-back years in an elimination game, then yeah, the billionaire owner is going to come in, not saying that he's not as bad as Robert Sarver. It would take a lot to be that. But he comes in, he's going to want to bring his guy, and the fact that they didn't win. Now, yes, if you're going to say if they won a championship, he wouldn't have fired him. Well, absolutely not. They weren't going to fire him if they won a championship, but they didn't. For Nick Nurse, look, I like Nick Nurse. I'm not saying that. I mean, yes, you get Kawhi and the amount that he was load managed that year. I mean, they won 57 games in the regular season that year, 57, 58, something like that in the regular season. And yes, when Kawhi was playing in the playoffs and the lucky bounce against your team, no, I'm not talking trash to you, Eric. I'm just saying that bounce, I mean, yes, he had the skill to take the shot, but going up and down to the rim like that, you figure it's not going in. So for all these guys to be fired, they're going to land somewhere. And Monty Williams, to wrap that up, I mean, has said he was, when Eric, we talked about this, he was he was more ready to be a head coach when he came to Phoenix. And he said, because even working with Chris Paul in New Orleans, it's like he felt like he had to manage everything. And he had conversations with his players, but he was almost micromanaging too much. Well, in Phoenix, that didn't happen. And yes, I mean, 3 years out of the bubble, they had the most. I mean, they were 9-0 in the bubble, 51 wins the next year, 64 wins last year. I get flaming out in the second round, down by 30. Like I said, each time sucks, but he got fired because the owner wants to bring his guy in. I'm just saying, I hope it's
all right.
So my one question is this: we keep saying Phoenix has no bench, right?
You were the one saying Phoenix had no defense.
I said that, and I stand on that. But what I'm saying is, we keep saying Phoenix has no bench. Why do we act like if the team was constituted as it originally was in the beginning of the season, they still would have lost to Denver? So I don't get the no bench. I don't get the no bench argument, because I feel like if you had the regular team you had in the beginning of the year, you still not beating Denver.
Regular, you had you traded away your best defender. You traded away your best defender to get hands down. You traded away your best wing defender, which we all know is huge.
So your best wing defender was going to guard Jokic, because that's who killed you.
Well, Jamal Murray may have not had.
No, you're right. You're right. Ayton is a problem.
But that's what I'm saying,
Jamal
Megan.
Jamal Murray out on the wing, big difference.
But that's what I'm saying, Megan. We're not addressing that. We're not saying Ayton got killed and rib contusion, blah blah blah. We're not saying. I mean, and I know Ray is loving this because Chris Paul and KD on the same team and they lose. I know he loves that. So I mean, we're not. Chris Paul hurt. Ayton didn't play the last game. I mean, somebody on here told me that Devin Booker been playing the best in the playoffs. He didn't do it.
He was playing the best in the playoffs.
He didn't do it in the closeout game. I'm just saying.
To make baskets. Isn't the point to make baskets?
All right, Mike. Hold on. Let me get Ray in there.
Didn't make none in the closeout game.
I would only say that when you start talking about the depth, right? When you watch Phoenix the last couple of games, especially after Chris Paul went out, it was pretty evident. Like y'all remember, I always use this analogy. Y'all remember Love and Basketball when she went overseas and the coach was talking and they said, "What did he say?" Oh,
Pass it to Monica.
Yeah, he said, "Give you the ball." That was Phoenix offense. You knew it was Booker, KD. That was it. And I think the way the team was constructed before, with Miles Bridges, with Cam, you have more people that can do more. Now, me personally, I think if you have the opportunity to go get a Kevin Durant, you do it 100% of the time, right? But when you say they lost their depth and then we act like that didn't factor in, right? Like none of them was going to stop Jokic. Well, I mean, maybe not. Jokic going to get his, but then those guys are gonna make it difficult for everybody else, right? Like I'm just simply saying,
Yeah,
to
but
people who say that they lost depth, that isn't true.
but
They said the same thing about Golden State too.
But to me, but Ray, to me, even if you had that same team and Chris Paul goes down and DeAndre Ayton is hurt, you still lose.
Yeah, I mean, but that's when we get into the what if and the semantics. Just like we all think Golden State would have won if they was healthy. Like if Chris Paul, like if a team loses a key player, that diminishes their chances to actually win. Like Chris Paul going down, which he always does, right? Like if Chris Paul,
you're right. I can't. Hey, like two people I would no longer defend: Chris
Paul,
hold on, or James Harden.
You're saying Golden State.
See, I know. I tell you, stop talking about Philly. This ain't your time to be talking about Philly. Keep Philly's name out your mouth. Go ahead, Queen.
I have a question. You said we assumed Golden State would have won. Which series are you talking about? This most recent one? Because they was healthy.
2019.
Oh, okay. Because I was confused. I they fully loaded now.
We are transitioning away from this because we have a lot to get to. John, I apologize, but see, you are still in the winner's circle, so just take your moment and just breathe because I do want to talk about a situation. I know. And here's what I will say.
Like he's the only one in the winner's circle, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. To Ty and to Ray, yes, the Lakers are still. They are in the Western Conference Finals, and we will get to them momentarily. Before we get to that, though.
Can I throw a fun stat out?
I'm about to win the draft lottery.
Please.
A quick fun stat.
We lost.
The worst win-loss record in the history of Game 7s, Doc Rivers owns that. 6-10.
Didn't I say keep Philly's name out your mouth?
I said Doc Rivers. And he's never won a road Game 7.
Okay. All right. I'm done talking to you right now.
Never won one.
I'm done talking to you. I don't know where Ray went, but I need him.
In the history of basketball in Game 7.
But I need Ray back here. All right, let's talk about
won a Game 7. That's tough.
Listen,
let's 6-10.
Okay.
Never won on the road.
Let's discuss the elephant in the room, please. Everybody, I need everybody's
Hey, Ray, you over there set tripping, man. You got double take on Seawall in the Lakers. Like, you over there set tripping.
You just got done talking.
Hey, we said you rapping.
I made a post about that. Say I'm set tripping.
Let's talk about Ja Morant. I'm gonna say this young brother no longer. Whoever is in his camp currently, he needs to get rid of them because if this young man who is talented, extremely talented with a basketball, who we have seen do sometimes supernatural things on the court and will go 120 miles a minute and throw his body every which way possible. If this young man is suspended next season, I am blaming not only Ja Morant, but I am blaming the people who he associates himself with. So I want to ask each one of you really quick because we do have to keep rolling. I do want to discuss playoffs. And then, of course, we have Keep That Same Energy and, of course, the debut of Eric's rant on the Sports Arena, part of the No Filter Network. What does everybody think is going to happen with Ja Morant, number one? And number two, what is something that he needs to fix during this off season? And I'm going to start with John, and then we just going to go around. So, John, please.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot because we trash the athlete, and we've done it with Josh Gordon. We've done it with so many athletes that fallen through the cracks, and people just trash them, man. And I think that he needs to be held accountable, but I also think that people need to try and find a way to lift him up because he does have whatever his inner circle is. It's not very good. And I hope that not for basketball, but for him as a person, he can find a way to get a better inner circle because whatever he's doing, it's not working. And I just don't want to see him go down bad roads that, you know what I mean? I don't want to see that happen to him. We've seen that with countless number of athletes. And people just kind of are they laugh at him, you know? And I hope that like you said, Eric, his inner circle, the people here, because I always say the company that you keep. The company that he's keeping is not keeping him accountable. Maybe that's on him. I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know the situation. But that's what I hope in this. I don't even care about the NBA part. I just care about him as a person being able to fix whatever's going on because clearly he's acting out for whatever reason. I don't believe this is who Ja is. I believe that he's trying to send a message. I don't know why, but I don't think this is who he is. I think he's being something that he's not. I just hope he can fix it.
Tyree, what do you think?
You know, I'm 50-50. And the reason why I'm 50-50 is, you know, I work for ESPN. I probably work for 10 Fortune, close to 10. No, I'm exaggerating. I probably work for 6 Fortune 500 companies, right? And you know, there's a such thing as code switching. You know, and we all deal with it. You know, when you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, Eric can attest to this. You know, when I'm with my friends, I don't talk the way I talk right now. You know, but for Ja, I just don't. I don't understand. For one, I don't understand the need for phones and everything. Right? Y'all sitting there hanging out in the car. Why is the guy on IG Live while you doing whatever you? Because ain't nobody talking about the fact that he was throwing up gang signs and all that. You know, right before the gun situation. I mean, it's Memphis. You got the right to bear arms. They jacked the cameraman's camera and hit him up on IG and asked him how to operate the camera. So I know it's very dangerous in Memphis, and I get the gun situation. But the flashing it, I just have an issue with the like. Why do we feel the need to always flash something? Like, I have a concealed carry permit, and most people don't even know. I like 90% of the time you see me, I probably have a gun, right? But most people do not know that because I don't want them to know that. So I don't know why he feels the need. Like, I don't know if that's a, you know, street thing or glorifying whatever, but that part just I don't get. And like John says, you know, you have to have better people around you because, you know, you see me doing something. That's just like about, you know, I'm just using an example. If I'm taking a line of cocaine, why you got it on IG Live? Not saying that I do that. I'm just saying.
Also, the people around you need to, you know,
Hold you accountable. So
yeah.
Ty brought up a good word, and I want to go to Mike. Mike, Ty used the word glorified. And as soon as he said that, the first thing that popped in my head is, you making millions of dollars. You already glorified. Why do you feel the need to expose yourself even more and be in that type of situation? So, Mike, talk to me about that piece.
Well, I mean, I think it goes back to the inner circle too. What's I saying? I mean, why is our phones going? Why is it? And I mean, hell, Eric, you saw me every time I tell you, like, I can't find my phone. You saw it a few times in Florida. How many times we had to stop the car twice so I could run back inside to get my phone?
Right.
That being said, like it's one of those things where they're filming you, this and that. And I mean, look, there's a lot to go to piggyback off what John said too. I mean, when you read a lot of these articles, and I mean, the Memphis police haven't been, I'm not saying like after one call, Josh should have had book thrown at him, but to John's point, and to Ty's point too, even accountability. It's one of those things where like they're just letting them off with a pass. And it's like, yeah, okay, I read a lot, and I'm not going to say that I'm not going to be, everything I read. And you hear people talking about just listening to interviews and saying, yeah, you know, the Memphis police did this. I mean, in Memphis, it was obviously a very huge story, but he's not around the right people. He's filming it. But I go back, and Eric, I'm putting Philly out there, but it's when Charles Barkley was there when he said, I am not a role model. And he took a lot of crap for that, right? But his whole premise was, in the interview he gave, is like, I understand I'm in the public eye, and things I might do might be stupid, and it's going to get blown up. But kids need to have, like, their mom, their dad be their role model. And I think at John, it's like, okay, now look, at 24 years old with what, 250 million, Ty?
No, it's like 190.
Well, okay, so say 200 million.
Yeah.
192, yeah.
It would be 230 or 240 if he would have made all NBA.
If he would have played,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, but just say about $200 million, and you're sitting there waving a gun around. And I heard a parent call into a radio station today when I was driving, and it was interesting. He's like, yeah, I'm here in Memphis, and you know, we love going to the games, and my kid loves John. It's on me to be a parent. He's like, he said the same thing you did, Ty. He's like, I have a concealed permit. I have guns in the house, but my kids are to the age where they know it's locked up. They don't know the safe code, but they do understand like gun safety, and like waving it around in a video, probably not the best look. And he goes, but it's my job to be a parent and say, hey, you know, it's not that he's out doing that. It doesn't make it right. But when I look at Ja, and to John's point, like, yeah, the 8-game suspension. I mean, I know we were going back and forth saying, oh, it should be the rest of the season. And should he even get to play in the playoffs? People say that was too soft. Well, I mean, if he gets a whole season now, I mean, if they truly want to care about him, get him the offseason help. Let's not talk about a suspension. Let's talk about, like you said, your inner circle. I mean, Sean Taylor, look at Sean Taylor. I mean, God rest his soul. Like, he was around the wrong people, and somebody, when he died, he got shot in the groin. I'm not saying anybody's after Ja like that, but it was inner circle people who Sean Taylor knew forever was trying to get away from. And Stephen A. Smith said it back then, like, you don't shoot somebody in the groin unless you're really trying to send a message. Like, it's sad. And for Ja, I know I'm not saying it's going down that road, but you're sending the wrong message. And it's about getting him help, not how long he's going to be suspended or, should he be able to play? I'm not saying take basketball away from him, but get him the help he needs.
But maybe that should be the case, though. And that's where I want to go with. That's when I'm glad you said that, because I want to transition to Ray with that one. Maybe that's where they should go. If this young man, he's 24 years old, let's put this into context. He hasn't lived a quarter of a century, okay? He is 24 years old. He is gifted. He is talented. You know who I think of when I look at Ja Morant? I think of Michael Vick. Michael Vick was allowed in bars when he was 16, 17 years old. Why? Because people did not want to, they wanted to keep Michael Vick on his good side because they knew he was going to be something special. And they wanted to make sure that in turn, it came back to them. So that's why they allowed this to happen. So maybe if you take the game of basketball away from him, I'm not saying take the money away, but that does come along with it. But take the one thing that at one time was Ja Morant's first true love, the game of basketball. If you take that away from him, maybe that will wake him up. Maybe that will force him to look at himself in the mirror and say, I need to fix me and my environment because now I have lost one thing that I have truly loved for a majority of my life. Is that something that needs to happen, Ray?
Nope.
Okay.
Well, no, like the basketball part?
Yes, sir.
Take it all. Take it all. Zero remorse from the sports reporter that I paid. Could care less about Demetrius Morant. They gave him 192 million reasons to get his act together and act right, and he can't figure it out. When Mike's sitting there saying, get the kid the help he need, he a grown man. And he's making the decision to do the things he's doing. And people posting, well, it's not against the law to have a gun. The NBA has an image they want to uphold. We saw what it did to Gilbert Arenas' career, the whole gun situation. So what they do, they lock down on it. They gave you a slap on the wrist the first time. You post a gun on IG, 8 games. Bro, we ain't even 3 months later. This Negro clearly don't care. Take it all. I could care less, bro. Like, give him the help he needs. Don't nobody owe him nothing. It's kids out on the street that really need help. It's people that got addictions or people. If somebody was injured, like Tua Tagovailoa, right? That's the kind of guy I feel sorry for. He's doing all the right things. He's playing hard. Then he got hurt, and that's ruining his career. I feel sorry for him. A guy that's just being stupid and is going to ruin his career, I don't feel sorry at all. I don't care if they take it all. I don't care how talented he is. He means nothing to me. He a rich, spoiled athlete being a jackass is what he is. And if he's going to keep doing that and not understand the opportunity that he's been blessed with, hell with him. I don't care if they take it all. Take his whole career. Wouldn't bother me one bit.
Ray, I don't disagree with you, and I'm not saying anybody owes.
Hold on, Mike. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him finish. Just let him finish, Mike. Just let him finish.
Listen, I don't even ever, I never ever compare me and my life to what people in that realm go through. I was defending my country at 24. I was getting bullets over the head at 24. So you can't ask me how I feel about what I was doing at 24. I had seen it all at 24, right? So if you go, he had a bad upbringing, right? Or he lives in a bad neighborhood. It ain't that bad.
He don't.
Just a couple months ago, everybody was raving over how him and T. Morant was in the neighborhood doing basketball drills and trying to get the kids right in the neighborhood. They was trying to be a positive influence and uplift the community, right? Somebody already said it. Ja Morant, with all the money he got, clearly wants to be something he's not. He ain't tough. You seen him gritty? It looked very suspect. He ain't tough, right? You want to be something you not, go be that then. Ray don't feel sorry for you. When you say get him the help, what kind of help? He got 192 million, all the help he wants. It's kind of off topic, but you'll understand what I mean. When they say LeBron James stays in the tip-top shape he is, you know why? They say he invests millions in his body every year. If Ja Morant really needed help, He got the money to get it. He got the money to get it. He don't want no help. He want to be that guy he portraying. Negro, go be it then. Go be it. I could care less what they do to him.
I'm not saying you should care either way, but I'm saying, like, if somebody needs, how many people that have been completely rich, all right, to your point, you need help or not? I'm not saying I didn't say I feel sorry for him. I'm saying if the guy needs help, he needs help. But how many people have been completely rich, completely successful, have committed suicide?
Mike,
there's been a lot, right?
Okay, so let me ask you a question. When you say he needs help, what you mean by that? He ain't got no addiction. He ain't on drugs, right? What help he need, Mike? Talk to me. Make your comment.
He's addicted to clout. No, he's addicted to clout. That's what he's addicted to. He's addicted to clout because he's not from the streets. He went to private school. He's not. He's living a lot. He's letting Memphis influence him. That's what he's allowing himself to do. And I don't really put it all on just Ja. Like, I mean, yes, his actions, yes. But what the hell is going on in Memphis? Like, what kind of ship is Taylor Jenkins running? Because if that would happen in San Antonio, Steven Jackson, take note, you had to go. Like, Pop wasn't putting up with it. It's not going to happen in San Antonio. So there has to be, it's got to come from the top too. So if you're going to criticize T, you're going to criticize anybody else, you got to throw Taylor in that mix too, because it's not happening in San Antonio.
With all due respect, in San Antonio, the only star they ever had of that magnitude was Kawhi. They never had a star like that had that magnitude, so they didn't have to worry about that. The polarizing figure that is.
Last 30 years with
I'm saying the polarizing figure that Ja Morant is. Like the polarizing figure.
It wasn't the best at his position.
It just some players are polarizing like that. The only one close was Kawhi.
Now maybe you just said Dennis Rodman.
I just want to make sure we understand.
But Rodman didn't act like that in San Antonio either. So I mean, I feel like
I don't think he met Pamela Anderson and all them yet.
I just believe. Right, so we as sports journalists, analysts, commentators, right? We talk about these athletes because we talk about sports, right? But again, I try not to compare it to our real lives. But everybody on this panel got responsibilities that they have, right? Eric got a wife, Ty got a wife and kids, John got kids, Mike, I don't know if you got kids or not. I know Megan got a daughter, right? Like, we all got our own responsibilities, and nobody is gonna care if we do something to put ourselves in a compromising situation that then could hurt or damage the integrity of the makeup of our family and our situation. Nobody's going to care. They're going to say you should have known better. You're going to get punished based on whatever it is you did. You're going to get reprimanded. You go, like, your job, whatever going to happen. They ain't no different. Like, if anything, again, like, to whom much is given, much is required, I would hold them to a higher standard. You get less leeway with me, because you got all the resources in the world to be better and you don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just using Megan. Megan got a daughter. From my all accounts, I think you're a single mom, correct?
I am, yeah.
Single mom and you got a daughter. You got real life problems, real life issues. Yeah. And you don't get to just be like, oh, I'm going to be stupid because I feel like it today. No, because you got bigger responsibilities at home. He ain't got no responsibilities. None whatsoever, just a bunch of money. And we like going to sit there like, oh, we feel sorry for him, we need help. I want to curse. I don't care. Like, do better, bro. Realize what you've been blessed with and run with it.
I think somebody recently, maybe it was Patrick Mahomes, was asked about being a hero, and I think it was Mahomes, and he replied with, "I'm no hero." Like, the people that work every day 9 to 5, like, those are the people that have to actually go and work and put in. We're just athletes, and we just get to play these games. But those are the real people out there working their 9 to 5. So I respect that when somebody like, I think it was Mahomes, said something to that nature. So I just wanted to say it because it kind of pertained to what you said.
It was Mahomes, John, and Ray. I don't feel sorry for him. I understand he has the money. I'm just saying, if there's something that mentally that's just not there. I'm not saying he deserves a pass, Ray. I'm just saying people need help. Kids get shot up. Schools get shot up all the time. And what is the first thing everybody says? Oh, we got to address mental health. We got to address mental health. Okay, so I'm not saying that he's mentally unstable. I'm not trying to make an excuse for him, Ray. I'm just saying if somebody needs help, there's been people very, very rich.
Can you just answer the question I asked you earlier?
You didn't answer mine, but yes.
I don't remember you asking me a question.
I said how many people that have been rich and successful and loaded have committed suicide? Actors.
A lot of them. Robin Williams comes to mind, right? Like, so, when you say he needs help, what help do you think he needs?
I'm saying if he needs help, if he needs counseling, if he doesn't view as what he's doing is irresponsible and wrong, then yes, he ticks different than you and I, right? I don't care inevitably if they take basketball away from him. I'm just saying if somebody needs the help, it's better to seek it out and not need it than have somebody go.
Mike,
shoot.
you're not answering the question. The question
I
is,
am.
no, you're not. So specifically, what help should Ja Morant get? Since you're
I
saying
don't know,
he needs
not toting guns in videos, flashing gang signs, acting like a gun's not going to kill people. How about that? How about schools getting shot up every day? It leads to the same problem. And when a school gets shot up, all they talk about is mental health. I'm not saying athletes are doing it. I'm just saying he's toting around guns. If there's something mentally that doesn't tick with that, that's his problem. That is a problem.
This is the second time I've seen the school situation get brought into it, and I'm rather confused as to why does that keep coming up. He's not in the school with a gun.
That's right.
Okay,
but you know what? He is a parent. He is a parent. He did cross state lines with a gun, probably with the Denver situation. If it was his gun, like there's more questions that go into this, and you can say Second Amendment, whatever. Like I'm a Texan, I'm a gun owner, all that. But I also don't believe I don't believe in open carry because that makes you a target. Anyway, here's my thing about that though. It has nothing to do with a code of conduct from your employer. Let them do whatever they want to do. He should not play basketball next season, period.
No, I'm not saying that, Megan, but what I'm saying is I'm just saying the correlation between the school, like people shooting up a school and him having a gun, like those two is
it's not the same.
Like
but okay, let me see if I can put the
I don't see how it connects the dots.
Let me see if I can put the correlation together for you. Hold on, Mike. Let me see if I can put the correlation together for Ray.
He's not in the school with an AK-47.
He's not. But what he is an athlete that a lot of young black, and I'll just say kids across the board, are beginning to look up to. Okay? So if they see someone who they idolize or they aspire to be like, if they see this individual carrying an illegal firearm, and we don't know if it's his or not, we don't know if he has a concealed permit or not, whatever the case may be.
They see him carrying an illegal firearm, we don't know that.
That's what I'm saying to you. Based on the videos and based on what has happened to Ja Morant thus far, okay? 2 times now, he has had a firearm in his presence, and it has caused him to be a slap on the wrist, 8 games, and we will find out what the future is going to be.
But I'm saying,
hold on. Let me get my point out. I'm going to address it, and I'm going to use you. Okay, you are a father. If one of your children all of a sudden is a Ja Morant fan, now I know you as a parent are going to sit down and explain to them that not everything that Ja Morant does needs to be copied. Because I'm sure that picture, video, even though it was taken down, is still circulating. So if that gets in the hands of a child, of someone who is looking to be like Ja Morant, that is where the correlation comes into play.
Okay, has anybody been on the internet lately?
What do you mean? We're on the internet now.
But what goes viral? Fights. Like it's all. I mean, I'm not making an excuse for him. I'm not Ray. I'm not Eric. But what I'm saying is, it's just like it's the weird stuff we say sometimes that makes me wonder. Like it's all in how you raise your kids, right?
Okay.
Like it's kids that go to my school. Hey, Mr. Ray, they're in 6th grade now. 6th grade, 11, 10 years old, 12 years old, right? Hey, Mr. Ray, you seen the new episode of Power? My son don't even know what Power is. Like, but it's the, and I'm not knocking at 50 Cent. I'm not. I'm just saying my son don't know what it is, and not yet. Right. But I say that to say it's all on how you raise your kids. Like this stuff, it's not like when we grew up.
No, it's not.
When we grew up,
it's all over the internet.
When we grew up, to find some porn, you had to go looking for it. All I can do, I'm just being real.
You are. But to what Eric said.
No. I'm saying, Eric, like this stuff is so accessible now. So
yes.
I can't say, oh, because he's on the line with a gun. Yeah, if I turn on Power, they're on there with a gun. If I'm watching any show, they're on there with guns. If I'm watching Walking Dead, like
Power
like
hey, Ty, I think that's a bit disingenuous though, right? Because what you're now insinuating is that these athletes with these platforms don't have the type of influence that they really
No,
do.
and I'm not saying they do, but what does that have to do with a school shooter, though, right?
Okay, so again, I don't know if I
Guy ain't shooting up a school watching Ja Morant play. Like,
no.
I don't.
Hold on, listen though. When you talk about connecting the dots, right? If you start from ground zero, right, and there is a kid who looks up to Ja Morant, right? Something as simple as planting the seed. Now, do I think I would tie those two directly together? Maybe not. But when you're a hero, which they say they're not, but like these kids do look up to them. You're putting the image in their head, like everything you do is okay to them, right? Like that's a reality, bro. Like that's why so many people got upset when Charles Barkley said, "I'm not a role model," but you are.
Right.
It's the responsibility that comes with that hat you wear, right? You want the money, you want the fame, then you got to take the responsibility that come with it. And Ja Morant's actions are very irresponsible and could have man, if it's one kid, you know, we say each one reach one, right? So if the positive things he do can reach a kid, then so can the negative things he do reach a kid. And that's very irresponsible of him to think that that's not a reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I think that, like, you know, a school shooting could be the result of what he maybe not, but he's putting it in the kid's head that, like, this is cool, right? Having a gun is cool. So having a gun leads to what? You think kids that shoot up schools just like that's what they just wanted to do it for so long? No, like somebody had to first make them think it was okay to have a gun. And then it leads and something happens in the shoot school. So I wouldn't necessarily tie the two, but I get it. Where you go, you're planting that seed in some kid's head, possibly. Like you said, to look to in our era, to find point you had to go look for it. You don't have to look for it now. All these kids on Instagram see Ja Morant. And it's a responsibility to come with that. Again, way off base. That's why I respect LeBron so much. You never catch him in these kind of situations.
Right.
He's whatever you say on the court, he's always been an upstanding individual and something that kids could model themselves after, right? That's the responsibility you got. Just like you, bro. That would be like you saying, man, I teach, but it ain't my responsibility to mold y'all kids. Yeah, it is. When people send their kids to school every day, they send them for you to be an example.
Because it ain't because everything is school fault. So I don't like.
You been on some.
I ain't been on the what's that? I'm not. No. This is the thing, and this is how things work. And I'm just speaking from a school point of view. This is how things work. When things is going great, it's the parents. When things is going bad, it's the school.
Teacher. Yeah, but I'm talking about reality. I'm talking about being responsible. I'm talking about as a man who is a teacher and a coach and has kids up under your charge. Forget what the parents think when it's going good and bad. You have a responsibility to those kids. Everything you do matters. Everything you say matters. How you walk, how you talk. And you'll look up and they'll be repeating stuff you say. I can see one of your kids going, "Oh, I'll pull up," because they done heard Mr. Tyree say it. Everything we do.
I don't use that type of language, sir.
Yeah, bro. Like I'm being so serious right now.
I'm being so like I don't tell.
Listen, bro.
I'm tell a kid what pull up for.
No, they might hear you talking to me. I done talked to you on the phone while you been at the school before. Watch them lips. Now you hear your kids saying it. Bro, I watch my son. He mimic everything I do.
Nah, school's a little different. They think we old, so they don't mimic us.
All right, we got.
They don't.
We got not a lot of time and
so
so much stuff to talk about. So listen, I don't know whatever.
They teaching us vocabulary.
When No Filter cuts us off, they cut us off.
Riz was.
Let's keep going, Megan. I didn't hear from you, so let me hear from you, and then I do want to get into the playoffs. We were gonna do a who knew I knew. We're not gonna do that because I want to keep that same energy, and I got my rant. So Megan, I'm gonna give you the final point about Ja. Then we are moving to the Eastern and Western NBA Conference playoffs.
Well, I actually kind of already did chime in a little bit on.
Okay.
I feel like he shouldn't play basketball. I don't feel like he should play basketball at all next year. And I also think you need to start holding the person who is head coach of the team, not for Ja's actions, but the drama that is a whole over there in Memphis with the Grizzlies. I think you definitely need to be talking to Taylor. Like, what kind of ship are you running over there? I mean, y'all can shake your head, but I feel like the leader is responsible for some things. Absolutely. Like, y'all want to say, "Oh, he's a grown man, he's responsible for his actions." Well, Taylor's responsible for his team.
Okay. All right.
I'm not mad at that, Megan, at all.
Let's go to the playoffs because we are down to the final four. In the East, it is the Boston Celtics facing John Shears, Miami Heat. So with the exception of John, because I know he's going to have a lot to say. Really quick, how does everybody feel about this series? What do they think is going to happen between Jimmy Butler and the Boston Celtics? Mike?
I think I think Jimmy's team will hear him, but I just think, sorry, John, it's not even picking. I just think Boston's too good. I know you're going to stick with your team as you should. I like Boston in 6, but I think it'll be an entertaining, good series. I think Jimmy's going to ball out, but I think Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. I like. Well, again, unfortunate because both my picks are gone, but yeah, I think Boston in 6.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. We're going golfing tomorrow. Don't worry about it. We'll
Yeah, exactly. Football season's here, Eric. Football season's here, baby.
We still got baseball. Tyree, what you think about this series?
Hey, I've been on Jimmy Butler's bandwagon since Chicago, since towards the end of Chicago, right? When people start learning, I just like him. He's a tough guy. I think Jimmy's a great player. I think he's very underrated for what he does. I feel like he assesses the situation. It's not all about scoring with him. He shares the ball. However, the video, I mean, the picture of Jimmy bent over in the bubble, Boston got too much.
All right.
Like Boston has too much. You have potentially 5 guys you can guard him with: Tatum, Brown, Brogdon, White, Smart. I'm not saying anybody's going to specifically, but you got so many guys you can switch off on him, and he doesn't really have a co-star, a consistent co-star. I think it's Boston in 5 or 6.
All right, Ray, what you think?
Boston.
Okay.
5. So respect to Jimmy. I mean, Ty literally read my mind. I just don't think they have enough. No Tyler Hero is going to really, really show up in this series, right? Because Tyler played most of the first round, then he got hurt.
No, he didn't. He played the game 1.
Game 1?
First game, he broke his hand in the first game.
My apologies, right? And not so whatever. They beat Milwaukee. I think New York was a perfect matchup. New York just Julius Christ. But Boston, man, and the thing is, Ty talked about having 5 different guys that can guard him, right? Do you remember in the first round when NBA TNT was clowning Derek White's hairline? But if y'all remember the whole video, what they were saying was the Boston Garden was cheering MVP for Derek White. That's how well he was playing. He was averaging 25, right? And then you have Malcolm Brogdon, 6 man. And then you have Jaylen Brown and Tatum. And then you have Marcus Smart, who plays with the confidence of a superstar, right? Like, he's going to let it fly. It's just a lot coming at you for everything. And I mean everything is going to have to go right for Miami to have a chance in the series. They have to play perfect basketball, and Boston has to make a lot of mistakes. And they have room for mistakes because they're so talented, right? Think about it. Tatum didn't play great last series. But when it mattered, 51, right? The game before that, played horrible all game and just went off in the 4th. He has that kind of talent. And then Jaylen Brown. Boston has 2 players that are just as good as Miami's best player. Right? Like, Jaylen Brown, for all intents and purposes, is like Jimmy Butler. Like he's his game. If you're Jimmy Butler, I see you shaking your head. You're supposed to do that. Because when we talk about Lakers and Denver, I'm going to do this with all this purple and yellow in here. Like, you can believe it. But, like, as a fan of the game, as an analyst, like, I can't see Miami winning. But, again, last time they made a finals run, they proved everybody wrong.
What would you say about the Bucks?
And I think
hold on. I got to get Megan. I'm going to give I got to give John his time and respect. Go ahead, Megan.
Okay, I'm actually going to go the other way with this. I'm going to go Miami in 7. I have been not betting against Jimmy, but I just have not been picking the Heat because of that same problem that you're talking about. They don't have the same type of shooters that Boston has or the same amount. Like, you got Duncan Robinson, who came off hot. He had 19, 20 points off the bench a couple games ago, right? Like, they have some really excellent pieces over there, but they don't have the same amount of. They don't have the more complete roster as what Boston has. But the difference maker for me with Miami is Spoelstra. I think that, I say this all the time, coaching matters. There have been times when I sat there and I watched Boston and they got outcoached by Doc Rivers at that. Like, how hard is that? So, I'm going to go Miami. Miami
Oh, mic drop. That's a mic drop.
All right. I'm going to say this really quick, and then I'm going to give John his time. John, I'm going to ask that you please respectfully be quick because we do have to transition. Here's what I'm going to say about the situation between Miami and Boston. It's very simply this. It is David versus Goliath. David being Jimmy Butler, Goliath being the entire Boston Celtics roster. And if David can find a way to sling that stone just right and knock somebody off for even maybe one game in the Garden to where Miami gets control, Miami has a chance. But as of right now, I'm saying in 5 because Jimmy is going to do what he has to do and get his. But there needs to be the emergence of somebody else in this series or 2 somebody else's on the Miami team in this series in order for it to go more than 5 games, in my opinion.
Miami in 6.
That's all you guys say is Miami in 6?
You said make it quick, so I made it quick.
Okay, fine. Miami in 6. Fine.
Did you want me to talk or make it quick? Because we talked 45 minutes about Ja. So I didn't know how fast you want me to go.
I was giving you your opportunity because this is your team. So, but if you want to transition, we'll transition.
Yeah, Miami in 6, solid.
Just so you know, because you guys, you're just like the media Megan. Everybody here talking about the Heat. Oh, they don't have shooters. Oh, they don't have Gabe Vincent. They don't have Max Strus. They don't have all these guys, Duncan Robinson, all these guys that, there's times where they go cold. But these guys, all they do is shoot threes. They have nothing but 3-point shooters. And Jimmy can shoot the 3-ball pretty well when he wants to. They have nothing but 3-point shooters. If they let Bam shoot, he can shoot as well. They have, that's what they're predicated on, is just shooting the hell out of the 3-point line. Sorry, Ray. I mean, you had an easy series. Your series was easy. Sorry about that.
How was it easy?
Don't feed into that. Don't feed.
Yeah, you faced a team that I told you. I went back and watched a video from June 23rd last year, and everybody on this panel, except Eric, because he didn't give his answer, said that was a dynasty. That the Warriors were a dynasty. I told you they weren't a dynasty. I told you they were too old. I said that the guys behind them couldn't hold up, and I was right. Told you about that. I was right about the Warriors. That was easy. Anyway.
You're so ridiculous. You literally
shooters all around the board. We're talking about the Miami Heat. Shooters all around the board.
You walked them up.
I was just saying. I just threw.
But I got a question about your 3-point shooters though. So you got Jimmy, you got Duncan. Who else over there is really
Gabe Vincent, Max Strus?
Jimmy who? Hold on, Jimmy who?
Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Butler can shoot the 3-ball too.
Man, don't. Man, bye.
He in playoffs. You guys obviously.
Well, I'm just saying it's not okay. Well, I mean, and maybe I haven't.
And do you know who was the number 1 scoring defense in the league this year? Oh yeah, the Miami Heat. And what they did to the Bucks, all they had to do was split games 1 and 2. Because just like Eric said, you split games 1 and 2. And then you go back to Miami and you have the advantage because it's really hard to win in Miami. It's not hard to win in Boston. Nobody cares about that. It's not the same aura as it was. You go down to South Beach and those fans, how crazy they are. It's a whole different.
I was actually in South Beach when y'all got put out the playoffs last year. I was there for my birthday actually. So I mean, okay. I will say this though, that matchup between Horford and Bam, that's where we're going to see a difference in that too.
That series went 7 last year. How can you just say they're just going to get walked off the floor? It's not happening.
Okay. All right. So let's go over to the other, which is the Denver Nuggets. With the Joker and that squad facing the King, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and it's the Lakers. So, again, I'm going to start with John, and then I'm going to give Ty and Ray the final 2 because that is their team. So, John, Lakers, Nuggets.
Yeah, I mean, both teams well-rested, came off of easy matchups against fraudulent opponents. So this should be a heavyweight fight. LeBron looks old. At times he can get up there. He can get up and block some shots, but man, does he look old. AD has to hold up against Jokic. I'm not sure. I mean, if he gets poked in the eye or something, he might be down for the series. I'm not sure. I think Nuggets in 5 in this one. I don't think the Lakers are going to match up very well. I think this is a mop job. Mop the floor with them. Lakers are old. Give me Nuggets in 5, gentlemen sweep.
All right, Mike, how you feel?
I feel I need to be drug tested. I do look. The way Jokic just played, the way Denver's been disrespected as a quote unquote. I'm not saying people here, but a not a real number one seed as they dominate. I mean, Jokic is a walk-in triple double, so I'm not saying AD can't play defense on him. I don't share John's sentiment if he gets poked in the eye. But if Mike Malone's smart, I mean, if you just Jokic bring the ball up, go all over the floor, make AD work longer and harder. If he's not going to work on defense, Jokic is going to drop the ball off all over the place. So I don't think he's going to forget how to do that. And to me, Eric, I've always stuck by it. I mean, yeah, you get a performance like you did from was that in game 5? I mean, Michael Porter Jr. went nuts in the beginning of that game. Jokic just kept driving and giving him the ball. So I love Jamal Murray. See what he can do. I'm not with John on I mean, John's basically saying he wanted to say Nuggets in 4, but he just said, "Oh, gentlemen sweep," so he went 5. I think the Nuggets do win, but I think it's in 6. I think LeBron will obviously definitely play well. I mean, I just think that again, Jokic can do too much. It has nothing to do with them owning the Suns because they owned them anyway. So, and I like the way Denver played all year long. So I think it'll be a good fun series. But I got the Nuggets in 6.
All right, to the Queen of Hoops I go.
I think this is going to be a really exciting series. I think this is the best matchup that Denver has had in a while. I do think that we're going to see AD shine in the lane, though, a little more than what Jokic does in the lane. I think you're going to see him be exciting. Now, Jokic is going to get in there and rebound really well, but you're not going to see that dominance, that excitement that AD has had in the last couple of series there in the lane. So I think that's going to be a huge difference maker. In order for Denver to win this series, that X factor has to be Aaron Gordon. Aaron Gordon is going to have to be able to go back and forth between defending, whether it be AD or LeBron like that. The only one that is physically able to guard those two players like that is going to have to be Aaron Gordon. He's going to have to be a madman when it comes to defense. I'm going to say Denver, but I could see it going either way.
All right. Ty-Ray.
Hey, Ray, I got a question. Who's been the best defensive player this playoffs?
Anthony Davis.
Thank you. So let's take it from there. I think the one thing that nobody is mentioning is AD is not who? He's not DeAndre Ayton. Right?
Oh, okay.
He's going to make just as much as we saying that Jokic is going to make AD work. What do we think AD is going to do to Jokic? First of all, they're going to put him in the pick and roll. Big boy going to have to play some defense this series. Right? That's the first thing he's going to have to do. And then let's see how good a shape Jokic is in. Because I believe if AD can stay healthy, he is the key to Lakers winning this series. If I'm AD, this is what I have wanted all year long. The guy that's the back-to-back MVP. And I'm not saying AD should be mentioned in these companies. But when people mention the best bigs in the league, Embiid, Jokic, Giannis, rightfully so, right? But the one person that always gets left out that's just as dominant as these guys, but just is not fortunate enough to be healthy is AD. I think AD has his coming out party this series, man. He's been, like I say, he's been the best defensive player all playoff long. I think he makes Jokic work. Okay. I believe the Lakers will win in 6 games. It's really up to AD and the supporting cast. I know what I'm going to get from LeBron at this point. I know the consistency I'm going to get from LeBron. You're going to get right around between 20 and 25 points, some rebounds, some assists. He might occasionally go for 30. I know what I'm going to get from LeBron. Reeves is getting to the point now where he's starting to get more consistent. I love Vanderbilt's defense and the different ways he could guard people. He might could guard. We might see him guarding Michael Porter Jr. Then we might see him guarding Jamal Murray. So I think we have a lot of the defenders, a lot of things that I said for Boston. I think we got multiple guys that you could switch. LeBron can play defense when he needs to. But AD going to turn this thing up a notch. Go ahead, take it home, Ray.
Look, as long as LeBron is y'all's coach, y'all got a chance.
Lakers in 6.
Can anybody tell me who the Nuggets' third leading scorer was the last playoff series?
Third leading scorer?
Probably not Aaron Gordon.
Jokic, Jamal Murray. Who's next?
MPJ?
Nobody even knows. Nobody wants to say MPJ. Nobody wants to say Aaron Gordon. Those 3 ways. You're not going to beat the Lakers if Bruce Brown is your third. Like, that's not going to happen.
Oh, I forgot. I always forget he's there.
But so
I was
I
about to
think
say
all three.
Morris, but
Michael
he
Porter
knows that.
Jr. averaged 12.8. Aaron Gordon averaged 12.8. Right? You're not going to beat the Lakers that way. It's just not. We just watched a one-man show try to beat the Lakers. It's not like that's not going to work, right? And again, Jokic don't have to play like this. Ain't no case. This is not DeAndre Ayton, and I don't even mean that as a shot to Ayton. I mean that offense don't run through him. If KD and Booker stole 2 games, what y'all think? Like my clock not on the wrong time. That just means Lakers in 5.
Wow. Eric Jokic is going to go from being a walk-in triple-double to a walk-in triple-single, like Charles Barkley says, according to that. Wow.
Okay.
Listen, no, he can get his. He can get his.
He's just gonna work for it.
Great players. You're not going to stop great players, right? The best player in the last series was Stephen Curry, best player on the floor, and he's at home right now. The best player in the Denver series looked like it was Booker through 4 games. He's at home right now, right? Like great players are going to get there. Jokic might be the best player on the floor the whole series. They're going to be the best team. And Ty, I'm a little disappointed when you say AD going to have his coming out party. AD was the best player on the championship team.
No, but what I'm saying is from a match, because this is I think if I'm AD, I'm just saying based off what the media says, he's never put in these conversations. I think he shows up because Jokic. No, I got it. But when we beat Denver before, Jokic won a 2-time MVP. So now that he's a 2-time MVP, I think if you're AD, you show him up, people are gonna say, "Hey, look, man."
Listen, AD is that AD gets put in those conversations, and there are always 2 words that follow: when healthy, right? When healthy, he's top 5, top 6 player in the league. Talent, right? Like New Orleans, AD was always in those conversations. Early first year Lakers, AD, he's just always hurt. Like when that dude is on the floor, there's not going to be a game where AD's not one of the 3 best players on the floor. I don't care who playing.
Like, and I don't like calling AD soft. Like we saw last week when I called DeAndre Ayton soft. No, he's injury prone. There's a difference. Like that's his body. He's not soft. He goes out there and gives all the effort he can give. DeAndre Ayton is soft. That's somebody who looks like he's scared to shoot the ball. Somebody who's scared to bang the rim. That's not AD.
Okay. Well, we got 2 more things, and we got to get out of here. So
I just think he's clumsy as hell.
I mean, yeah, but he ain't soft.
No, I don't think he's soft. I'm saying I just think
maybe his bones are kind of soft.
No,
that is a conversation for another time. We got 2 things, and we have to get out of here. Typically, keep that same energy would be the last thing we do here on the Sports Arena, part of the No Filter Network. However, tonight, like I said, I am making my official No Filter Network Eric's Rant debut. So I'm going to let Ray do keep that same energy, and then I'm going to close it out. So, my brother, I'm going to give you the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm tempted to call it now the best segment in all of podcasting, but nothing beats career over. But Ray is coming up really close to it. We'll keep that same energy.
We're going to do something different tonight. Because I had one in the chamber for Who Knew I Knew. Oh, boy, I couldn't wait for Who Knew I Knew. So what I'm going to do is 5 of y'all on the panel. It won't be no tie. I'm going to just go around the horn. Keep that same energy. Y'all want me to talk about Klay Thompson or KD? What you want to hear, Eric?
I want to hear KD.
Ty?
Klay.
John?
Oh, Klay, of course.
Mike?
Klay.
Megan?
Klay. I want to hear Klay too.
Keep that same energy. I don't know where this theory came from, this whole Game 6 Klay and Klay Thompson is clutch. And then when he plays bad, everybody like, oh, but he was injured. Let's just go back. The 2015 NBA Finals, the Golden State Warriors won. They won. Klay Thompson in Game 1 had 21. Game 2, he had 34. Anybody know what he did the last 4 games? He scored 14, 9, 12, and 5. That is what the clutch, second greatest supposed shooter of all time did in the NBA Finals, where they cheated Steph Curry out of Finals MVP. Neither here nor there. 2017 playoffs, the entire playoffs, Klay Thompson averaged 15 points. 15 points. 15. 2017 series against Utah, 15, 14, 6, 21. Next series, 6, 11, 17, and 10 against San Antonio. Gets to the finals, has games of 6, 13, and 11. Like Klay Thompson always comes up small in the biggest of moments, but then he'll have a crazy game to just make us all forget about it, like the game 6 against OKC, and then we'll forget how awful he is the rest of the time. Mr. Game 6 Clay. What happened in Game 6 this year against who did they play against? Sacramento. He went 8 for 20. What happened in Game 6 against the Lakers? 3 for 19. Klay Thompson turned into Russell Westbrook. Last 4 games, 15, 9, 10, 8. That is the great Klay Thompson, who is supposed to be so clutch in the playoffs. He is the same guy. Whether it's game 1, game 2, game 3, game 7, it don't matter. Regular season playoffs. Klay Thompson is going to give you between 18 and 21 points per game, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, on about 43% shooting. Don't matter when he's playing. He's not clutch. He's not great. I'm liable to say he's not a star. He's a glorified role player who gets a whole lot of clout from playing next to Steph Curry. Great shooter, solid defender. Klay Thompson is not a star. He's not as clutch as y'all say. And Game 6 Klay is a myth. That's all I got, E. And I can't wait till next week to talk about Kevin Durant. I can't wait.
All right, so those of you who have been following the sports arena know that every once in a while I do something because I just got to get something off my chest. So typically I do my intro, but since we haven't figured those technicalities out yet, let me just very simply say this. Welcome to the debut edition of Eric's Rant. Yes, I am just a loudmouth with an opinion, so whether you like it or not, here it goes. Now, first off, I got to shout out my man Tyree because he sent something to the group today that I'm going to read verbatim, and all it did was fuel the fire within me. He said, this came from Miss Joan Madden. Thank you very much for posting this. Imagine being a complete Philly sports fan to see your baseball team, the Philadelphia Phillies, lose to the World Series in October. Your football team, the Philadelphia Eagles, lose to the Super Bowl in February. Your hockey team, shut up, Mike, missed the playoffs in April. And your basketball team, the Philadelphia 76ers, be up 3-2 and missed the conference finals in May. Oh, and by the way, Dawn Staley's USC women's basketball team lost the Final Four in March.
Hey,
that is what being. Hey, you ain't talking. Keep your mouth shut. Watch them lips, because I'll pull up.
Hey, soccer team lost too.
Okay? What I am simply saying to you is this. I'm gonna move all them sports out the way except one, basketball. Why? Because the Philadelphia 76ers lost on Mother's Day. And shout out to my mama for being here. Mom, I miss you and I love you. And thank you for spending 4 days with me. I can't wait to see you in Christmas. But my point in all this is I went back because y'all realized 10 years ago there was 3 words that came out of somebody's mouth, and it has spawned a decade of just unimaginable. It leaves a pit in your stomach. 3 simple words: trust the process. So I went back and I looked at the NBA draft from 2013 till this one coming up. In 2013, the Philadelphia 76ers took Michael Carter-Williams when they could have taken Giannis Antetokounmpo. In 2014, who they take? Joel Embiid, the reigning MVP of the NBA. In 2015, instead of taking Devin Booker, we took Jahlil Okafor. Okay, all right. In 2016, with the #1 pick, which means we could have took anybody we wanted. Could have took Jalen Brunson, but we took the cancer that is Ben Simmons. Yeah, I said I'll never change that. I don't care. You are mediocre. In 2017, again with the #1 pick, and we could have had Jason Tatum. We took Markelle Fultz. In 2018, we took Mikal Bridges. Somebody tell me in 2019, who is Ty Jerome? Because I know who Tyree is, but I don't know who Ty Jerome is. In 2020, we took Tyrese Maxey, who was still on the team. In 2021, we took Jaden Springer, who was also still on the team. In 2022, we took David Roddy, who said he didn't want to be there and now is in Memphis. I say all this to say this to y'all tonight. I am tired of the Philadelphia 76ers ceiling being the second round of the NBA playoffs. Trust the process is dead. So to Daryl Morey, to Doc Rivers, and to that entire organization, when you have a prime leader in Joel Embiid, you have a young man, not young, you have a man who can facilitate and get you 20 and 12, and then on some nights can be the Houston Rockets James Harden that we know who to be, who we can drop 50 at any given point in time. See, this to me falls on two men, Tyrese Maxey and James Eagle Harris's cousin, Tobias Harris. You two gentlemen were supposed to be the ones who were supposed to complement Joel Embiid and James Harden. And y'all didn't show up at all. So something.
Tobias Harris was the top scorer.
Something. Did we win? Did we win?
Saying
No.
that he was the top scorer.
Did we win?
Hey, what the hell are you complimenting when James Harden got 9 points?
Tell him how many Joel Embiid had.
John, I swear on everything that I love and is holy. I swear I will not send you the entrance to get into the show.
I think I love the Philly loss more than the Miami win.
Hey, Eric, I got a question. Tell me how many points James Harden had in the fourth quarter of game 5, 6, and 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for Eric's rant tonight here on the Sports Arena, part of the No Filter Network. For Mike Caratenuto, who has already signed off because clearly he did not want to be a part of Eric's rant because normally it's about his damn Cowboys. Sorry, Megan, I still love y'all. But I'm just going to say goodnight because until this is fixed, 76ers.
How did PJ Tucker outscore?
Megan, stop it. Because when I see PJ Tucker, I'm going to personally give him your phone number.
I have a little fun fact for you.
Give him my business card.
I went back and watched our show June 23rd last year. Mike Patton said the Celtics wouldn't make the second round. Just so you know, make sure you let him know. I screenshotted that too. He commented, said they wouldn't even make the second round in this year's season.
I
They're
don't
in the
use.
conference finals.
Listen,
You never Mike Patton take seriously?
I was gonna. When it comes to basketball, I don't. I trust Mike Patton with his football acumen and his knowledge. His basketball, though, to me, is still a little under. I'll take it under review. I'll put it to you like that. When it comes to the AFC South, touring the AFC South, hey, I can't touch Mike Patton with a 10-foot pole. Basketball is a whole nother scenario. Anyhow, we are going to get out of here. Thank you, No Filter, for not shutting us off tonight. I know we went way over. But for all of us at the Sports Arena, much love to everybody, and we will definitely see y'all next week. So for the Sports Reporter without pay, the one and only Mr. Ray Lynn, Blue Hawks 13, John Shear, ASU Forks Up, Sun Devil, Mike Caratenuto, the big guard himself, and please give our love to Little Guard because I can't wait to see that little man. And last and certainly most not least, our Queen of Hoop, Miss Megan Price. It's your man, Eric Wilson. The Sports Arena, y'all. Peace. We out.